No claws, please, right now. No, ow! No claws, please. Welcome to the HearHerHands knitting podcast. My name is Jennifer, and I am a knitter, crocheter, sewist, and quilter located in Baltimore, Maryland, where I live with my partner and two black cats and 3 miniature schnauzers. All of whom are roaming around, so maybe you will see some of them today. And since it is still sort of the start of February, I would like to talk a little bit about Fix It. Hi. Frog It, Fix It, Finish It, February. So the first thing I'm going to talk about for the February challenge is a piece I have fixed already once, and I think I'm going to frog it and reknit it. But either reknit it top down or reknit it to a slightly different pattern or something like that. So I'm really proud of this. This is my mock table cardigan. Hi. Yes, which is a V-neck cardigan. The pattern is knit by Lillian Olson, and I participated in the test knit for this cardigan. And I knit it up in pattern classic wool worsted in the color seafoam. And I've already started trying to undo it, but I've never unraveled a sewn bind off before, so I'm finding this part particularly challenging to get through. And also I am incredibly conscious of the fact that, USA may be under tariffs and may not have the same kind of access to yarn that we've had in the past, so I am really reluctant to waste any of this yarn. Like, I think the recommendations I see are to cut the very edge section. And I know that's probably not a lot of yarn for the sewn bind off, but I'm just reluctant to lose any yarn. So my main goal for February is at the minimum to frog this sweater. Because I really love the yarn, I really want to use the yarn, and I really want a cardigan in this yarn that I can wear. And I really love this lace pattern, so I'm going to try first to find a way to knit this lace pattern top down. If that doesn't work, I'll do something else entirely, but like my other thought is that since this is worsted, it would work well for the Jenny jacket, like Team Knit, which is also would be my first ever. Hey, don't do that. The Team Knit pattern. You want to sit with me so you don't mess up with the camera? Come here. Come here. Yeah, you sit down. Come here. Welcome to Black Cat. Sit down. Hi. Sit. Ooh, you're dirty. What are you rolling? Okay, sit. Right, so yeah, so first and foremost, no claws, no next. First and foremost, I am going to frog my mock cable, beachside mock cable cardigan, and then after I frog that, I'll have the rest of the year to decide what I want to do with this yarn. But as it is, not wearing. Hey, what did I say? I'm not wearing this cardigan. As beautiful it is, as much as I love it, it's just not quite the style that I prefer. So I want to make something that I will actually wear. Please don't use your claws in my leggings. Huh? You're not? No claws. How many times do I have to tell you? Hmm? Okay, behave. Alright, so this is my first fix it, frog it, finish it February item. We'll put that to the side. Yeah. And then my next one is a very minor fix it, frog it, finish it February issue. So this is my Salty Day sweater, and I finished it right at the beginning of January. Ow, excuse me, but also this will be another pulling out yarn from the sewn bind off, which I am not looking forward to. However, this sweater is about a half an inch too short on the sleeves, and every time I do anything, the sleeves move up above my wrist, and it makes me cold, and I'm constantly pulling them down. So I know that all I really need to do is this little tiny bit more ribbing. Do I need to kick you out? Huh? Do I need to kick you out? That's not how this works. So you need to behave. Hmm? I don't need your claws in me. Hmm? Can you stop? No, I meant it. No claws. No claws. No claws. No. What's wrong with you? Alright, you know what? It's distracting. Are you not gonna help? Yeah. Oh, show me out. I love you. I do not need your claws in my leggings, okay? Let's go. So I had to kick cat out. But it's I don't know if it's the weather that keeps going back and forth or if somehow I was around people. I don't think I was, but I have a sore throat today. So this is my very pretty mug by what by Death Queen. I can't remember the deaf artist, and she has drawn signing hands with the sign for "I love you" all over the mug in various colors and tones. So I think this is really beautiful. I think this is very much the sentiment we need right now here in the US. I will share this a link to this artist page. But I just think we really need to be supporting each other right now, especially when it comes to minority artists and um, especially when it comes to sign language art. As a deaf person, it's very important to me to be supportive of other deaf people and to not supporting hearing creators who are benefiting from our language and selling art or using sign language in their various forms of social media for clout. So I think it's always important to me when I come across a fellow deafie who is very good at what they do to share what they do with the world. Yeah, so that, and then I have my DIY medicine ball in here, which is a mint tea by Bigelow, and then honey and lemon. I used to be a yoga teacher, and one of my main yoga mentors always recommended this, especially when you're out in the world with people in a tight environment like the yoga studio. I always got sick at least once in the winter, and this was her sort of fail-safe cure for keeping your voice going for an hour-long yoga class when you are not feeling great. It really does work. So, all right, yeah. So we're back to my other Fix It February um garment. No, I really like this shirt. I did have to buy a long sleeve, like purple t-shirt to wear under it because, especially this like back lace section right here that goes like along the back shoulder, it ends like right under my arm, and for some reason that is a serious like cold spot, and it really makes me cold. So I have to wear something under it, mostly just to keep warm, at least right now while it's winter. But it also is a half to a quarter of an inch too short on the sleeve. I don't know if it's actually the sleeves are short or if it has something to do with this 2x1 ribbing, or I don't know. It's just it pulls. So I think what I read was that like when you block something out, it makes it go over this way, but it'll shorten. So I think it's possible that happened, that I like tried to stretch the sleeves out a bit and I made my cuff too short. So I need to frog just the bind off, which I'm not looking forward to. So if you have advice on undoing a sewn bind off on a cuff for both of these, please let me know. I could very much use your help. But I love this sweater. It turned out so beautiful, and I just am dying to actually be able to wear it and be comfortable in it, which means not constantly pulling my sleeves down. So that is my Fix It project finish it February item, and it's one fix and one frog. And now we go into finished objects. Okay, so for my first finished object, the last time I did a podcast episode, I showed you this headband, and I have finished it, and it's the exact same as my other one that I made that is also a smidge too small. So it's just, in this one, it's not the color work that's too small because I learned better how to do the color work. It's something that I can probably fix, but I need to work up the energy. So when you sew the 2x2 ribbed inside piece together, that like seam, that is where my band is really tight. It's like only that seam that's pulling on it. And I can still wear it, and it's not terribly uncomfortable, but I can feel that seam. So I need to figure out how to resew that seam so it's not so tight, but it's a very minor fix. And I'm still thinking about doing it, but I'm in love with this. Like, I think I just love the leopard print color work so much. I did it before in this hat, which is a more of a Lime brand, feels like butter yarn, which I just really enjoy that yarn. But this one definitely has no stretch, and I did not know enough about color work at that time. My first ever color work project, and I pulled everything really tight, so it's too tight. But this is a finished object. This is an old object. yeah, so I feel like I'm really proud of this. It was a small little thing, but it is done. And then I have two finished. I have three works in progress, and I have a hopeful cast on to talk about. Okay, so this is a self-explanatory maybe. So I am knitting a top-down version of the pussy hat from the 2016 March on Washington. So this hat, I'm actually knitting it as a piece to be included in a protest art exhibit that some of my friends and I are working on putting together. So this is just a piece that will be included in more in other types of protest artwork. So it's not done. About halfway there. The stockinette part is about 7.5 inches. I think I'm on 5, so I've got a ways to go. This is, since it's for artworks, I'm not going to be wearing it. I am knitting this in Lion brand. In Red Heart. Red Heart Super Saver, and it is all 100% acrylic yarn, and this color is, I believe this is shocking pink. So this is fun. Definitely not my thing. I've never wear this color, but it's been a fun knit. It's been like a really nice little easy thing to have on the go when I don't want to be looking at my knitting, or I want to break from more complicated things that require counting. So that. And then I have my other work in progress. So this is part of the It's Your Opposites knit along or something like that. Opposites track knit along that Sarah's Handmakes is posting. And so my opposite color is actually kind of both of these. So I've never knit in brown before. And also, initially, I started this project with my skein of Blue Ridge and Valley colored yarn, specifically dyed for the Rhinebeck event, the Rhinebeck Yarn Festival. There we go. So this is Blue Ridge and Valley. This is by Neighborhood Yarn Co. Neighborhood Fiber Co., who is a local dyer, local to me. And some ways this is an opposites color for me, is it has a lot of this like kind of golden yellow color, which I never knit with yellow. I never wear yellow. I've always been told that yellow is not a good color for me. There tends to not be a soft summer color. I think there's one or two yellows that kind of work for soft summer, and they're both like in the really, really bright but pale highlighter yellow tones. So for that, I did this. I started it, but it was just working up like extremely. Where did I want? There's like an extreme contrast. Like the various colors were just very contrasty for me, and it was just too much. I didn't think I would wear it at all like that. It was really pretty, but it was just the contrast was too much. There was too much variegation. There was too much stripiness, and also the yellow is really too bright for what I could wear. So I decided to add a sari. So I've already discovered that I can't handle mohair, and I had made a mohair sweater that I had to gift to a friend. So I am trying to knit with this three, I forget what it's called. I will add what this is next to me because I've forgotten. But I know it's the color nutmeg, and I know it's like a Surrey and silk. Fleece. So I think it's Surrey maybe. But yeah, so it's really pretty nutmeg color, which I definitely took a chance on because that's the other thing. Like soft summer browns are there are only a couple that look particularly good on us, and this worked out. So this is very much like a pinky mushroom brown, like it's in the more like cool beigey pink tones, which is nice. So this is a good color for a soft summer. And combined with this, it does a really good job of softening up my sock yarn that I'm doing a cardigan out of. So this cardigan is the ombre cardigan by Candace Fiber Co. or Candace Fiber. Yeah. So the ombre cardigan, and I believe it's because of the way it was initially like her first sample was knitted in ombre color, but I think adding the Surrey has done a really good job of giving it that ombre effect. And so I'm on my last raglan increase section before I will be able to split 4 sleeves. And I really enjoyed this seed stitch collar that's included a button band. So that means I won't have to go back and add one, which will be very nice. So when I'm done, I'm done. I'll have to pick up 10 million stitches, but I think it's really pretty. I'm very excited to see how this looks when it's finished. So there's that. So this is the ombre cardigan. And then this is Neighborhood Fiber Co. Studio Sock in the color Blue Ridge and Valley. And then this is Surrey Leaf in the color Nutmeg. And then another thing I'm working on. So I'm working on the blanket along with knitting traditions, and I think her event ends in March, and so I figured that since that's happening, I should probably start trying to connect my hexies for the Summer Fade hexie blanket. So last night I did 5. So they kind of like this. It's a little. So this pink color is called. I forgot the color. Something watch. But it is a national park in Vienna, Virginia, which is not incredibly far from where I live, and it's also where very close friends of mine live. And so I have 3 skeins of this pink Vienna, Virginia national park yarn. And it is. So that is working up. This is going to be like the bottom section of the Summer Fade hexie blanket, because that one is like the whole bottom section is white. So I'm going to do mine in pink. So I have started crocheting them together, and I did that. I'm using the flat join, and I'm not doing the crochet as you go, join as you go pattern thing, just because I got so far along without it that I feel like if I started doing that and then I would have to like cancel the next section, it would be confusing and not look right. So this is what I have so far for my Summer Fade. And then one more thing. So this is pretty ambitious. very unlikely I'm going to get to this in February, but when I get to this, I am a member of Summerlee's color stock cuff color cuff club. Yeah, it's color cuff club. So I'm a part of her color cuff club, and I have only knitted 2 pairs of socks so far. So I want to knit a Valentine's Day sock, color cuff sock, and I want to knit the body of the sock in this, like, what the majority of the sock in this, like, navy color. So this is Knit Pick Hawthorne in the Calumet Falls tonal, which is like a very dark navy black color, like waterfall color. So this is my main color. And then since her Valentine color chart is kind of a, what is it called? Norwegian. It's a color, it's one of those color work. It's very similar to the November color work as well, but it has hearts in it. So I have a like pale grayish, not quite a tonal, slightly variegated yarn that makes the background. And I'm debating on if I do my heart in the classic Valentine's Day red. So this is Patent Troy back in the color red. So I might do my hearts in the classic red like this. So what do you think? In classic red like this, does that go? Or I might go a little rogue. So I also have this wool. So this is Knit Picks wool. This is a fingering weight superwash merino nylon, which is the same as this. A little bit softer. And this is the color Sachet hand painted. This is a pink, gray, and brown colorway. So my other option is to do this like more variegated color for my pink. There's a purple in there too. Do this like more variegated pinky purpley heart color. Or go more classic red. So if you were me, which of these would you go with? I don't know. I could teach you help. But yeah, that is all I have for today. I am definitely going to focus on my fix it, finish it, fix it, frog it, finish it project duties. And going to finish my kitty cat hat. But yeah, have any advice for me about undoing some bind off? Please give it. I would have a tutorial, anything. There's got to be an easier way. I know that I'm a sewist. I could just take my seam ripper to it, but I just really am afraid to trash a certain amount of yarn. So yeah, if you could help me with that, I would so appreciate it. And that's all for today. So if you enjoyed this little vlog podcast of my knitting and my thoughts on deaf community and supporting other artists, feel free to click that subscribe, follow along. I have also shared my Instagram in the description down below. If you're interested in following along on Instagram, I do a lot more of like with Roundup Wednesdays and like I show a lot more of my progress of what I'm doing on my knitting on my Instagram, as well as talking a lot about culture and community and history in the deaf world. And would love to get to know you and learn more about you and your knitting and your way you are coping in our current environment. Yeah. So that's all that being said. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.